For today's video, I thought we could chat about 9 questions you can ask yourself when you're going shopping. How do we stay on track when we have this big vision, but we're faced with individual purchases? So let's dive in with question number 1. Is this piece a high priority item? Is it an MVP? Is it something that you need in your life right now? I've done a whole video on how to conquer your wish list. I went a little bit deeper into this concept, so you can check that video out. I'll have it linked up here and down below. And in that video, I did talk about priorities because I feel like it's so easy to want everything, and you really need to be so intentional about what thing do I need to buy first though? Like, what's the most important thing? If you ask yourself this question when you're going shopping for certain pieces, the answer doesn't always have to be yes. We don't always have to be holding ourselves to the highest standard and doing everything perfectly and correctly the whole way along. But just having that question in place allows you to have an awareness of, is this piece something that is very important for me right now? Or is it just something that's like an opportunity and nice to have? And it's fine to do that. You can have things that are frivolous. You can have things that you don't absolutely 100% need, but it's just important to know, where does this land on my list of priorities? To me, once you start prioritizing your wish list, you'll kind of never go back to the way that you were doing it before. I think so many of us have such a pell-mell approach to shopping, and we just are like shiny magpies, attracted to whatever is like in front of our eyeballs in that moment. So this question, like all of the questions on my list, are just acting like touchstones to keep us really grounded. Question number 2 is something that I've just started asking myself recently, and it's, is this piece something that I would love to wear right now today? I find this so grounding, comparing to like, it's so easy to get sucked into the like fantasy self. But if I'm looking at a specific purchase and I'm thinking, would I actually put this onto my body right now today? Would this be appropriate right now in my life instead of whatever I'm wearing in that moment? That is so, so grounding for me to realize actually it's not really that practical, or it doesn't look like it will be that comfortable. Maybe it might not work for my lifestyle. And again, you just have to keep so, so on top of yourself and really honest about what actually is your life, because especially when you get in front of a screen, there's that disconnect from reality and you kind of are really in that imagination zone. So would I wear this piece actually right now in my life with what I'm doing and my activities today? Can be so grounding and can really hold you back from so many purchases. There are purchases that we make that are not for the everyday. Formal event wear, like workout gear. There's so many different facets of our life that we require clothing for. So again, this is just a question to use as a touchstone, and it's up to you to understand, like, is this, something that's going to be helpful for me, or is this a question that's maybe not so relevant to the piece? Like if you're wedding dress shopping, this is not really a relevant question to you, right? But use your discernment when you're going through the questions. They're just something to keep you grounded. Question number 3, do I already own something similar? This is an interesting one because obviously if we're really honing in on our style, oftentimes there will be pieces in our wardrobe that are similar to each other. They echo the style of each other because they speak to us. They are part of our personal style. We all need options, choice, and variation in our wardrobe. So it's not really crucial that you have every piece in your wardrobe be distinct and fill one gap each. There can be overlap between pieces. But something that I like to keep in my mind is, do I have something that is similar to this piece that is already perfect? It's already fulfilling that function. And then I start to sort of compare the piece that I'm looking at with something I already own, how often I've worn that similar piece, whether it's something that really works for me and I would love to have another similar piece, or whether it's something that's not quite perfect, needs to be upgraded to something similar. And you can sort of start to compare and contrast how something has already been working or not working in your wardrobe. And then when you find yourself drawn to similar items, you kind of have this backlog of information of like, is this going to be something that I'll wear a lot? Is it going to work with my lifestyle? Is it going to follow the same track of, I really liked it at the start, it sat in my wardrobe, I couldn't find a way to style it, and then it kind of disappointed me. Just knowing your kind of personal purchasing patterns. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Anyway, it's just bringing that consciousness to the surface again and being aware of what you're drawn to and why. Personally, I don't mind having dupes. Things that are like really similar, like two stripy t-shirts, for example, or the same dress in black and in white. I don't have any problem with that personally, because I feel like a white dress and a black dress would fill different gaps in my personal wardrobe. I know that some people like to have their pieces be distinct and not have things that are too similar, but either way, knowing where you stand with your own values according to this question, it's still going to be so helpful as something to ask yourself. Question number 4, how often will I wear this? This is so useful. It's so practical. Like if you're shopping for something that is going to be part of your staple core of your wardrobe that you're expecting to wear, multiple times a week or at least once a week, it's just good to know, because then you can judge it according to, how much money am I, putting into this piece? Is it going to be something that I can get my cost per wear on, It also comes back to like, what is the fabric content of this? Can it stand up to a lot of washing? The things that we wear most often, they tend to match our personality really closely. They tend to align to our style words really closely, because what we do most often becomes kind of almost automatic. And I think the things that we are gravitating towards as our kind of staples, our basics, the things that we wear the most often, they're generally the most easy to wear pieces for us personally in our wardrobe, according to our aesthetic, according to our, like, how much effort we want to put in to our outfits on a daily basis. And that will vary from person to person. But also things that we know we're going to wear less often, it typically can be something that is like a little bit harder to wash, for example, because you're not going to have to wash it that often. Or it's going to be a little bit more uncomfortable to wear because you know you're only going to be wearing it in specific circumstances, whether that's high heels or like a slightly more restrictive dress, but you know you're going to be wearing it for specific events. So it's more important, how you look than feeling incredibly comfortable in those situations. Again, depending on your personality. Either way, knowing how often you're going to wear something, it can inform so much. Number 5, can I style this item with pieces that I already own and have in my wardrobe? Or is it an outlier or like pivoting or pushing my style in a new direction? Both of these things are totally fine. We all have moments in our style journey where we want pieces that come in to just fit and sing harmoniously with everything that's already there. And then there's also moments where we're feeling a bit like, I need something else, I need something new. And so we kind of reach out in a different direction and we move towards a piece that maybe it doesn't fit with our current wardrobe, but we're kind of willing to go outside of our comfort zone because we want to move our style in a new direction. We don't want it to just be what we've always worn. We want to be pushing the frontier and creating something new. Question number 6, would I prefer to buy this piece instead of any other piece on my wish list right now? And this is similar to the high priority question, but it's really kind of using comparison again as a tool to really help you be very intentional with your budget, with your space, with your decisions. It's so easy to want something. It's so easy to look at something and say, yes, I want this. But when we start to compare it against another thing that we also equally want, if we have the same amount, say, of budget or the same amount of space, and we can only pick one, this one or that one, you really have to be ruthless. Which one do I prefer? Which one do I want most? If I could only have one of these, which one would it be? And that can really help you to, again, just avoid regrets and I guess not to be so frivolous with spending or frivolous with your decisions, because it's really, really easy to lust after something and to want it. But as soon as we bring back the grounding aspect of, but do I want it more than this other piece over here, which I also really want, that helps you to really bring everything back into balance and kind of realize and understand more about your values. Question number 7. What is the returns policy on this item? And also, addendum to that, what is the resale value of this item if it turns out that I don't like it that much after all? Maybe I should have moved this question further up the list because I feel like it's such an important one. For me, I do so much shopping online because I live rurally. I don't have too many, actual brick and mortar stores accessible to me where I am. So I do most of my shopping online, and it's crucial to know what the returns policy is for pieces because I have got stung. If you've seen my jewelry video, I'll link that up here and somewhere. There is one brand that I purchased from that I was not able to return anything. That's a whole nother story. But knowing, either way, just knowing what the returns policy is, are you going to be able to get, a refund or a store credit? Do they accept change of mind returns? So many shops nowadays are doing like final sale sales. So like you purchase it at a discount, but you're not able to send it back, which is such a pain because one, it makes something more affordable, more accessible for so many people. But then if you get like a slightly wrong size or something, what are you supposed to do with it then? You can't send it back. So that's kind of a pain, honestly. But it's ubiquitous. It's creeping into so many retailers now. So I think it's really, really important to know before you buy something, you have that safety net that you can send it back if it doesn't work. And on the other end of the scale as well, if you want to bring something into your wardrobe and like kind of play with it for a while, work with it in your wardrobe, but you're not sure how it's going to sit alongside your personal style or the items you already have, you need to kind of keep in the back of your mind, what is the resale value of this specific piece so that I can kind of recoup a lot of my losses if I want to then pass it on the secondhand market after I'm kind of finished with it, if you're kind of not sure if it's going to fit or not. All right, question number 8 is the juice worth the squeeze? Which is basically like, is this item worth the effort that it's going to take to own it, to maintain it, to wear it? Certain pieces of clothing are easy care. They're just like chuck on, easy to wear, chuck in the wash, easy to wash. And so that's like low effort, high reward. And on the opposite end of the scale, we have like, okay, this is something that I have to be in the particular frame of mind to wear this piece. Like, it's a pair of high heels. It's suede. It's something that, requires a little bit of babying. Some of us have, the brain capacity and the ability to take care of these items. It's just really important to be really clear with yourself. Do I have the capacity to take care of this new baby that's coming into my life? Treat your clothing items as if they're like little friends coming into your life. Do I have the time and energy and space to, to honor this piece that's coming in? Because otherwise things get disheveled, things get unkempt, or things just get really annoying to you and you never wear them because they take too much effort to wash, to wear, to take care of. And like I've been saying all along, there's no right or wrong answer to this question. It's really just asking yourself and trusting yourself to have the answer. Like, do I have what it takes to take care of this piece? Am I happy to dry clean this if it's something that I am only wearing once a year? Yes or no? Some things are worth the effort and some things are not. And nobody else will be able to tell you that. That's just like straight up personal preference. And then lastly, I've spoken a little bit about longevity, but I really like to think about the longevity of the item that's coming in. So the question being, what is the longevity of this item in my wardrobe? Obviously, if it's underwear, it's going to last a shorter period of time in your life than, say, shoes that are well made, because shoes can last you a decade, 2 decades plus if you're getting the correct pair, like really quality craftsmanship, but like nobody's holding on to undies for 10 years, I hope. So obviously the longevity of the item is going to be like, some of it's going to be baked into the item itself, the nature of the item, how long you typically will have that kind of thing in your wardrobe for, how hard you wear it, and like whether it's up to that wear. Some of that is down to construction. Some of that is down to, how often you wear it. Some of it is down to how much choice you have in that section of your wardrobe. If you have 50 t-shirts and you're wearing them all the exact same amount as each other, they're all going to get so much less wear than somebody who has 5 t-shirts and is wearing those on rotation. And then of course, like the style is part of the longevity as well. So whether it's something that's kind of more well, I want to say classic and timeless, but not in the sense of aesthetic, more in the sense of, according to you, is this like a classic you piece that you're still going to love in 10 years' time? Is this a piece that you consider to be timeless to your personal style, that you have loved for years, that you will love for years? Pieces that tend to last a longer time in your wardrobe, they tend to fit those two factors. One, they last well, they're well constructed, like outerwear, shoes, jeans, you know, but they also fit the other requirement of they are classic to you, they are timeless to you, they're part of your core personal style, which doesn't waver, which doesn't get affected by trends. So again, there's no right or wrong answer to this question. It's just knowing, is this a piece that I am probably going to be owning for a long time? Or is this a piece that's kind of more like a trend or more of a short-lived piece? And then you can, according to that, you know, make decisions like, okay, this is only something that I really am going to be wanting to wear for this year, maybe next year. So it's going to have like a smaller part of my budget allocated, or this is something that I can see being in my wardrobe for years and years and years. So I'm going to, you know, give it a bigger chunk of my budget or whatever. Lastly, I just wanted to say, please don't put so much pressure on yourself. I mean, it's so easy to get real perfectionist on it when we're building our wardrobe and every decision feels like it matters so much. But really the key is just to try, to fail, to play, to keep a little bit of lightness around it, and don't put so much pressure on yourself to get every single decision 100% right, because, you know, you can't really. And so once you kind of start to let go of a little bit of that perfectionism, if you're anything like me, it just brings a whole lot more fun and joy and lightness to the whole process. My next video is going to be all about sort of building my dream wardrobe, some of my favorite brands that I've been eyeing up, and like, if money was no object, how would I be curating my dream wardrobe? So if you're interested in a video like that, stay tuned. There's a little sparrow in my house. Why am I being inundated by wildlife? There was a seagull the last time. Okay, anyway, thank you so much for watching until the end, and I will see you very shortly in my next one. Bye!